Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Uh, it's Friday. I think I'm alone today. It's okay though. Um, it's Friday. I have we have a new map player. We have a new map player. Um, there's some good news regarding the map. Um, at least on like anyway. We have some good news. Uh, I don't know how much I can say about the good news. That's the awkward part. Is that I have no problem saying everything. I just don't think there's things I can say. I think they would be mad if I said it. But anyways, there's a new layer. Do you like the layer? It's different now. You see how there's like the terrain is exaggerated. Um, oh, and there's trains. The trains are in yellow. That's cool, right? Um, so you can see all the train lines pretty easily. Um, the map is a little bit brighter and less saturated so that it's not as like blindingly bright with the layers on top. So this is a map layer. The thing about this map layer is that it's editable. Like for example, we can change the train tracks to be a different color. See, this is like a dotted line. It's like a yellow dot or orange dotted line. We could change the color to any other color. We could make it a solid line. We could make it different sorts of dots. um, the same with these roads. They're white. We could change it to a different color. So there's all sorts of things. We could make everything obnoxiously bright pink if we wanted to. Um, so this is like there's like a map editor that we can use. So that's cool. So yeah, and because we can change all of these things, um, we might change them, or I don't know. It's like I'm not sure what colors are the right colors to use. Um, 1 second. I'll be right back. I need to I need to be right back. Uh, right back. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. Anyways, yeah, the that part of the map is not updated. From I understand, there will be a new um, there's going to be a satellite update. Um, so they are like compiling a new satellite image as the base map layer. So that'd be cool when it happens, when it comes out. Um, I'm not sure when it will come out. They keep saying soon, but they've been saying soon for a few months. Um, so who knows? But it is coming out. I just don't know when. They keep saying like in a month or two. Okay. So yeah. So that's a map layer. Uh, yeah, and the UI is going to change dramatically soon. We're making a new or Martin is making a new UI that is focused on phones and smaller screens. So the UI is going to be new soon. I don't know when, but soon. Anyways, so do we have some news today? The biggest news that everybody is like excited about is Andriivka. Um, so over the past few weeks, I've been kind of discussing this Andriivka area, and we've talked about how Ukraine kind of broke through on this kind of southern portion of Andriivka, and they've been pushing south towards Kyrgyzivka. This is like the 28th Brigade, I believe. This is the 28th Brigade. And then I think the third, I think it's the third is acting up here. They broke through, at least they got to. I'm not sure if they broke through yet, but they got to this really important position right here, and they broke Russia's hold on it, and Russia had to retreat to the other side of the railroad. And once these two positions were lost, so there's this southern part and this northern part. Once these were both lost, Andriivka became basically like impossible to defend. And yeah, so so ever since then, Andriivka has been getting really heavily shelled, um, especially this portion of Andriivka, like this road into the town, just to the east, has been getting just shellacked by Ukrainian
Well,
artillery. Hello, hi Konstantin, how are you?
doing great. Are we live?
Yes.
Oh, I'll mostly chill here. So if you have questions, just ask.
Okay. Um. But anyways, this portion to the east of Andriivka is it was getting hit by like cluster munitions and whatnot, um, seemingly in preparation for a Ukrainian attack on the town. And apparently, this attack came about 2 days ago, and now they're saying that it's been liberated. So that's Andriivka. Now, what's going on in Klischiivka is I don't think it's going so good for the Russians. I don't know, Konstantin, do you want to talk about Klischiivka?
I don't have much to say, but it's almost taken. Like there is only probably a couple of streets controlled by Russians, but I don't have street by street detail, but
Yeah.
there are Russians still in there. Uh, there was an information that it was taken this morning, but it's not. It's not true. And I don't know why it was revealed. It can be taken by the end of the day, but I don't know. Well, not at the moment when it was posted.
Yeah. So I am not convinced. I'm not convinced that Ukraine has. It's like a high priority to take Klischiivka. I feel like if they wanted to, they could, but it's just they're doing other stuff that's more valuable. So that's kind of my interpretation anyway. Because they're shelling. Ukraine is shelling all of the Russian routes into Klischiivka, which aren't that many. There's this northern road that's the bridge is destroyed, so using the road is really difficult. And then there's this like southern pass that they mostly have to walk through, and that's both of these are getting really heavily shelled. So the Russian position in Klischiivka is just tenuous. It's not going well for them, and for that reason, I don't see why Ukraine would force the issue to take it. It just like this situation, like how this is going right now, only benefits Ukraine. So I don't really see their motivation to like push forces into here when they can just kind of hold what they have, maybe clear whatever remnants of Russians are in the middle of the town and shell everything while the Russians are trying to move. Like that seems like the smarter move to me. That's why like it makes a lot more sense to me to take Andriivka and push towards this railroad line, and it makes more sense to me to push down towards Kyrgyzivka and maybe try to break the Russian defenses there. It doesn't really make much sense to push the issue in Klischiivka, unless like it would make more sense to me if you're pushing in the like this forested area to the north, where I think Russia has a stronger hold. But the town itself is just kind of like, who cares at this point? Like Russia lost the town, like the, and I don't even think they can take it back. Like even if they really wanted to, I don't think they could. Yeah, Constantine sounds muffled and quiet. It's, but that's a Constantine. Constantine has two modes. Mode one is muffled and quiet, and mode two is like mega loud. So it's just kind of like you have to flip a coin of Constantine. You get one or the other. Uh,
Let me get my headphones.
he's gonna get his headphones. The next possible targets, well, you can see what Ukraine has been publishing today, and maybe this gives you a hint on the next target. Ukraine published videos, or a video really, of them taking out a bunch of Russian equipment on this kind of road intersection here. This main highway is really kind of the next target for Ukraine. This is like this highway is kind of Russia's next line of defense. So there's Odradivka, which is probably the key to this highway. It's probably the most defended area. And then there's Mykolaievka Druha, and Mykolaievka. So these two towns, and I don't know if you remember way back, way back. We're going way back at this point. I don't even remember when this was. Uh, yeah, it's not even. It's so old that I had to consolidate my map to get rid of the info. But we're going way back. That Russia had a really hard time taking Mykolaievka and Mykolaievka Druha. It was really difficult for them. It, they got Kodema, which was a really big get, and they had a hard time breaking through these two towns. And once they did, it started going badly for the Ukrainian defense. They kind of, when they broke through these towns, Russia started kind of accelerating, and then they got stuck like over here. Um, and they accelerated up. They kind of got stuck here for a while. They pushed up through it, and then they ultimately completely stalled right here. So, anyways, Mykolaievka and Mykolaievka Druha, they this position, I'm not exactly sure whether it would be easier to attack it from the Ukrainian side. I kind of think it will be, because one thing to keep in mind at this point is that Ukraine is kind of attacking downhill. So the reason these towns were so difficult to take was that Russia was attacking this uphill, and Ukraine had a lot of good um, like arcs of defense, arcs of fire that they could do all through this whole like little hill here. This part of the hill was really difficult for Russia. They really tried to push here, it didn't work out, and so this whole slope was in Ukraine's defense, and now it's kind of the opposite. Now Ukraine is kind of attacking on the easy side, I think. Ukraine will be mostly attacking downhill from here. They are kind of at the top of the hill at this point. You'll see like Bakhmut is downhill from where they are now. I guess Opitna is kind of a hill, but for the most part, they're going to be attacking downhill, and that is a benefit to them. Pryytune, attacking it from the west is uphill, but attacking it from the north is downhill. So that's kind of this is why I thought that all of these towns would all collapse at roughly the same time, with Klischiivka, which is basically gone already. Andriivka, which has been liberated. Klischiivka is kind of the next one, but I don't think they're really defensible. Once Andriivka falls, Klischiivka I think is in a lot of trouble. And once Klischiivka is gone, Novoiehorivka is in a lot of trouble. And then I think at some point in the near future, we're going to see the front line is going to go up at least to, if not past, this railroad. I think all the way up to Bakhmut. Um, so yeah, and the next the next line will be this highway, and there are defenses between the railroad and the highway. I don't want to make it sound like this is all empty, but Ukraine will have a lot of advantages in these assaults. But yeah, it seems that Ukraine is now kind of turning their sights to kind of these three towns here. And then beyond that would be Kodema, which I've talked about Kodema a bunch. Kodema and Zaitseva. Now, beyond those two towns, I'm not really sure what you would do. I think if Ukraine pushed the Kodema and Zaitseva, I think at that point you'd probably try to take Bakhmut if you haven't already. Uh, but Ukraine controlling this whole southern portion would be a really big deal. It would completely erase like an entire year of a Russian offensive. Um, as for the prematureness of Andriivka, the reason I I think, in my opinion, the reason why people are debating on whether Andriivka is liberated or not has nothing to do with the town itself, but everything to do with this area across the railroad from the town, and to a lesser extent this kind of forest strip that's just south of Andriivka. I don't think the town itself, I'm pretty sure, is abandoned by Russia. I don't think they're there anymore. So in in one sense, if Russia abandons the town and Ukraine is in the town, does that count as liberated? But I think the military people are more saying, but there's all these other threats that we're under, and we don't like those threats. So I think those threats are what the military people are focusing on, and the politicians are more focused on just announcing a victory. Yeah, and just south of Novoiehorivka, there is Mayorsk, and this was a frontline town. It was controlled by Ukraine. It's not even really a town. It's like a railroad. It's like a railroad station, really. So, like the front line was like here in this railroad station. I can't remember exactly where, but it was like around here, and Russia took it, and after a really hard fought battle. They took the railroad station, and then they took this kind of like little neighborhood, whatever this is, and they were never able to move past that. Really, they kind of moved up to like here ish, but they were beaten back pretty quickly. Um, so yeah, uh, this kind of northern section of Bakhmut, I don't really know so much about it. From what I understand, Russia is regularly assaulting out of Berhivka, trying to beat Ukraine back, and probably like this whole region here is kind of like a gray area. From what I can understand, is that Russia will assault and then Ukraine will kick them out, and that's just been happening over and over again. I'm not sure if Russia is advancing over time or if it's just all the fighting is like right here. I'm not really sure. And and then to the kind of to the northwest or west or whatever. I don't even know what direction I'm looking anymore. Okay, so just west of Pryytune and Dubovo-Veselivka. I'm not really sure even where the front line is here anymore. It's difficult. It's difficult to get good info here, and I think the part of the reason it's hard to get info here, is that the Ukrainian units that are fighting here are really professional and they don't share info. Do they, Konstantin? They don't share. They just fight.
Well, there is 77 brigade videos right there that are being shared quite often from here.
Yeah, but they don't show things we don't already know. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It
I
seems
guess so.
it seems that they're selecting which videos to share very carefully. That's what I'm trying to say.
Maybe there are no many videos there. Well, I have some videos from there. Oh, I shared them with you, I think.
Yeah,
But they're hard to locate.
they're really hard to locate. But yeah, I'm not really sure where the front line is here anymore. I'm not sure if the front line is moving or if it's stationary or if it's just really fuzzy. If it just goes back and forth. I'm not even sure. It's hard. This area is hard for me to talk about. Yeah, and the area north of here. I'm gonna go to the other map. In Orakovo-Veselivka, this area along the highway. I think my map is basically right. I'm not so sure about this area of the forest. Ukraine may have lost this part of the forest, but the rest of it, I think, is basically spot on. Every time we get new videos, it just shows that my map is right. I'm gonna go back in time, like you see here, yesterday, Ukraine attacked. They had a drone attack here, and they tried to assault there. I don't know if the assault was successful or not. And if you go back in time, it's just all the videos just reinforce the map. So there's no changes that I can tell. Oh, it did something. Oh, I fixed it. Now near Vesele, which is kind of northeast of Solodar. I don't know if this is a Russian advance or if we just get so little information from here that anyways. But Russia does control this territory that is bright red. Whereas before I had almost all of this as a gray area and some of it as a blue area. I can just go back. So this part I had as a blue area, and this was based on a single video plus some satellite footage of heavy shelling. So I assumed that heavy shelling was Russian shelling. So, but anyways, the heavy shelling may have actually represented a Russian attack way back then, whenever that was. When was that? That was oops. Actually, this is images of that shelling, isn't it? So this was back in June. So oops, that's not what I wanted to see. So yeah, here you can see kind of sort of this heavy shelling. It was here and there and here and up here. Anyways, so you can vaguely see the shelling on this really low res satellite image. So anyway, so that's how I marked this as Ukrainian controlled back then. Although in retrospect, maybe this was when Ukraine lost it. But either way, we now know that Russia definitely controls this area, and I don't know how or when that happened. I don't know if this was recent or back then or what. So yeah, now in to the north of all of this, I really have no news about any of these areas. About Verkhnokamiansk, there are the K2 battalion videos, which are really good, but they're not recent. They're from November. So they're pretty old at this point, but they are interesting videos, and those videos take place right here. So if you want to go watch the K2, they're right there. And this arc that I drew is because I've been trying to figure out exactly where Ukraine is in this area, and there's very little info to go off of. But they said that from this one specific point, there was no Ukrainian position within whatever distance they said. So I drew like a really bad circle. That's what this arc is. So, anyways, yeah, north of that, in around Dibrova and Kremena, I have no news. Like, I have like literally no videos or anything. Oh well, actually we had some videos the other day, didn't we? These were all like videos that didn't really interest me very much, honestly. But anyways, so there's no particular news. There's no signs of changes here. And then when we move on up towards Novoiehorivka, from what I've heard, the fighting here has cooled down significantly. This was probably the hardest fought area in Ukraine outside of like the southern offensive. This was like probably maybe like the second or third hardest fought place in Ukraine, but it was very intense. If you look at the satellite imagery, it was extremely intense fighting. Probably on par with what's going on around Bakhmut. But Russia took a lot of casualties. Ukraine probably did too. I don't really know, but Russia took a lot of casualties. They lost a ton of vehicles. There's so many vehicles, and now it has cooled down from what I can see. Now it's just kind of a normal front line, I guess. Not that they're not doing these like charging forward with like 20 vehicles at a time thing anymore. But yeah, the losses here are crazy. They were losing like probably 6 to 10 tanks a day in this one little area. They were losing them, a lot of them like over here, like on these tree lines, and like over here and like over here, and up here. So and this intersection, oops, this intersection between all of these tree lines looks kind of like a little like Z. This intersection, they lost so many vehicles. There's unfortunately, I have a video that I can't share, because they asked me not to share it, but it was a drone video from right here, and it just showed the aftermath of all the fighting, and there's just like 10, 15 destroyed tanks like just in this field. It's just crazy. They lost so many vehicles. Yeah, Russia was attacking here. It wasn't Ukraine. I mean, well, Ukraine did attack too. Ukraine pushed Russia back to this tree line, and then Russia got very upset and took the tree line back. They really wanted to break Ukraine here. They were really pushing for a breakthrough. They wanted to take Novoiehorivka, and they wanted to keep pushing west, and I think they wanted to go all the way to like Borova. And one thing of note that I'm not sure many people even talk about this, but all of these towns here are getting really heavily shelled, especially Borova. Borova, they put out statements saying that they didn't want anyone entering the town, city, whatever Borova is. I think it's like a large town, or maybe a very small city. But anyways, they set out these official statements from the mayor, and he was begging people to not enter the town, to only to drive around it and not to enter it, because it was getting so heavily shelled. And he said that the shelling was almost entirely in the town center, like near the stores and like gathering points, like the school and the stores and stuff like that. So that the surrounding like residential areas were not really getting shelled. It was all the middle of the town. So he was begging people not to come. And a lot of these other towns were also getting pretty heavily shelled. Russia really was they're trying to prepare this big attack, and it totally failed. It did not go well. And then moving on north, probably the most interesting thing to me that has happened, although Constantine found it incredibly boring, is that we got some we got some videos from here, Constantine. What did you think of those videos?
Yeah, they were really boring. Like nothing is happening. Literally nothing is happening.
Literally nothing is happening. There's like one video where it's just sitting there, and then like a single artillery shell lands in the middle of a field and hits nothing, and that's the video. Oh man.
Yeah, it's like, and there are I don't know, 20 gigabytes of that.
Yeah, it's so many videos. There is one video out of all of them that I find absolutely fascinating, and I can't geolocate it, but I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna find that video. It's fascinating to me. What is so interesting about it is that I have no clue where it is. I have no clue. I don't think it's here either. I think it's somewhere else. But I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna find it where it was. But anyways, these incredibly boring videos, they did change the map, so for that reason, they're interesting to me. But it showed basically the videos depict this area right here is getting shelled, very boringly, and this tree line here is also getting shelled, and this one here. So that changed the map a little bit. Yeah. So yeah. I wish we got some more boring videos though. But anyways, another thing we could talk about is that whatever. He's right there. Look how sad he is. Do you know why he's so sad, Constantine? Why Romanov?
Why is he
Sure.
sad?
Why I can't remember how to say his name. How do I say his name correctly?
Romanov.
Romanov. Okay. So he's sad because get this, Constantine. He had to walk up. I think he said it was 7 flights of stairs in his armor.
Once again, what is?
That's
Could
why
you repeat it?
he had to walk up like 7 flights of stairs in his armor.
Oh, yeah, he's fat or what?
That's the face you make when you walk up 7 flights of stairs in your armor. But he's in this building right here. This is the building. So if you want to know where he is, he's right there, and he's very sad. So if you're in the area and you have an artillery piece, there you go. Anyways, so that's kind of the northern part. I kind of started in Bakhmut and then moved north. I guess I could cover the south of Bakhmut. There's not terribly much to talk about south of Bakhmut, to be honest. I don't have much news. I've literally no news from New York or Andriivka. Should I talk about New York? I do have some news from New York. I got my first news ever from New York, but the news is so... I don't want to talk about it, actually. The news from New York is nothing's happening. And I could go into more depth, but I don't want to. It's just nothing's happening. That's all you gotta know. Okay, so from Opitna, we have no new news. Okay, so the most interesting news of this area of the Avdiivka area, because nothing's changed other than one fact, and the one fact that has changed is that Russia's not attacking here anymore. So that is an interesting change in itself, I guess, that Russia's not attacking anymore, because they have attacked like every single day for the past like 9 years, probably, but they haven't for the past few days. So there's that. Um, and Marinka is more of the same. No changes there. Novomaiorske, again, no changes there. Vuhledar, again, no attacking on either side there. There was some shelling, but Novomaiorske, this video of Ukrainian shelling is probably from before their attack on the town. It's probably not current. It's probably about a week old. But other than that, we have no real news of changes here. There were these videos yesterday of various vehicles being damaged by drones, and there was a I called it a Ukrainian tragedy, but an attack here went very badly. So and I have no news about Novodonetsk. People keep saying that it's Ukraine is assaulting it, but I've seen no evidence of that. I haven't seen any videos of an attack there or anything like that. Oh. Who holds Slab and Anthill and Cuckoo? Russia does. They control all of them. Yeah. They're all like right here. Like Slab is there, and Cuckoo and Anthill are here. So, here, I'll get the other map. There's other positions there too. I was told the names of all of them, and I forgot most of them. Because a lot of them were in just like Russian words that I can't remember. But Slab and Cuckoo were easy to remember. So this here, I believe this is Cuckoo, right here. This is the forwardmost position. This is Anthill, I believe. And then I think like these are all like different positions. And I can't remember them all. But I know one's Cuckoo and one's Anthill, and I think there's two other here that I can't remember the names of. But they all kind of like melded together into like one structure over time. So that's these positions. These positions were this whole hill is basically man-made. You can see that this is an airport. All this land was cleared to be flat for the airport because you have to be flat for a certain distance around. So when Ukraine lost control over the airport, they dug trenches here, and they were getting shelled, and they didn't like that, so they kind of kept digging deeper. And as they dug deeper, they had to put the dirt somewhere, so they piled the dirt on top while they kept digging down, and eventually they made this hill. And that's basically what it is. Does the airport hold military significance? I don't really think so. The main structures of the airport are all gone, mostly. There is this building is like a ruin, but it does still stand. But it's not. I don't think it's really important. It does. There have been some videos of Ukraine attacking this building with drones, which are kind of interesting. It reminds me a lot of Peleliu when I see that. But that's another story. I don't think the airport really holds much military value. What are you gonna do with an airport? Like it's a big flat nothing, right? Like, what are you gonna do with it? It's not
It's good. It's good to hold defense at probably.
It's
You know, it has the field, it has somewhat an infrastructure, like not, I mean, not buildings, but you have some kind of road. You have some kind of roof over your head, even though it's mostly destroyed, but still you have it. I don't know. Airfield seems to be a good position to defend, to me at least.
yeah, it's flat in all directions. So there's
Yeah,
that.
you can see pretty far as well.
But I don't know. I think if I had to choose between uh capturing the airfield and capturing like this town or whatever this is, I would rather have this town, like personally, than that is this giant airfield. But I don't know. There's a reason Ukraine built like a giant hill out of dirt because there's so much nothing that they needed somewhere to hide from the artillery. But anyways, um, where am I? Moving on. So, uh, yeah, I don't really have much news about like a Pryytune other than yesterday we had a video of Russians shelling this southernmost point of this forest. A few days ago, Russia did this assault. This assault. Actually, it wasn't really a few days ago, but they did this assault where they pushed Ukraine out and they kind of entered this kind of forested area. And then Ukraine has now pushed Russia out of this forested area, and now they control it again. Um, so that's like mildly interesting. And yeah, now getting down to Robotyne and Verbova, I don't know of any significant changes. There was a video of Russian shelling that came out today. They were shelling this. Here, I'll turn on the fortification so you can see it. They were shelling along this trench ditch. So it's like a trench for anti-tank trench. That's the word I was looking for. Anti-tank trench. So they were shelling along this anti-tank trench and along these tree lines near it. So that's like, but it's like we knew Ukraine was there already, so it wasn't really new information. And yeah, this shelling here may be super interesting, but I need to analyze this more. So I haven't changed the map to reflect this, but I need to analyze this more. I don't know if this was like a Ukraine just kind of went there and got beaten back, or if Ukraine is actually here. Because if they are actually there, that's actually a really big development. Um, because this is, they were already like less than a kilometer from Verbova. This would be like not even that far. How far is this? Oops. Yeah, it's like half a kilometer. Maybe 2/3 of a kilometer away. So, but I don't know if Ukraine is actually there. I need to do more research on that. This whole area might be more of a gray area. We do have these videos occasionally of Ukraine attacking with drones, but we don't know how old these videos are. They could be older. Um, and so yeah, we just it's just really hard to analyze some of this stuff because we don't know the order in which things occur, and we can make assumptions, but those assumptions might be wrong. So you just have to be careful. And this area south of Robotyne, we saw vehicles driving along this highway to the south. Uh, I don't. This isn't really a highway. Anyway, they're driving along this road to the south, which was interesting. And um, after they got to a certain point, this area got shot by a toss, which was interesting. So we don't know whose vehicle that was driving. Were they Russians leaving the area, or was it Ukraine assaulting south? Or we don't know who the vehicles were because we only saw them from a drone from like 2 or 3 kilometers away, and we can't really even tell what the vehicle was. But anyway, we just know that there were vehicles that were driving from here down south into Novoprokopivka, and then as they were driving south, this whole area was getting shot by TOS and various other rockets, like grads, and also other various forms of artillery. And that's kind of all we know. We don't know really who controls this intersection, if anybody, and we don't know who was going down this road, whether it was Russians or Ukrainians. So, big question marks. So that's kind of most of the update. I don't know, Constantine, did I miss anything?
So I was not.
We sunk a submarine.
Yes, it was a submarine, but you already we spoke about that long time ago, right?
Oh yeah, we were kind of talking about it as it happened. Remember?
Yeah. Oh
So-
yeah, but we did not have like conclusive results. Now
Yeah.
we know that submarine is sunk, and today there was a real not sunk, right? It wasn't sunk. It was
damaged.
sunk in a dry dock.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, but there is like really high resolution image. I don't know if you want to pull it up. It's really shows well. I think British, UK pulled it out, showed it to everyone.
I don't
It's
have it
basically
handy.
okay. Then we cannot do. Do you want me to find it, or let's just move on?
I'll try to find it. You talk. You talk. I'll search.
No, I will search. I'm bad at talking. I'm good at listening and doing nothing.
Okay. Is this it? Is this the image? Let me open image in a new tab. This is it, right?
Yeah, this is it. It's actually really good, and you can see that it's completely whacked. I think in the nose. I don't think you can repair it, and it burns. So, and there is a lot of submarine is not the hull is damaged, and of course it has like million pipes and electronics. I don't think you can. Well, it's messed up. It's fucked up. It's gone.
Yeah, and I've talked to a few people who work in this field, and they told me that I don't remember the word. Like the joins between what's the word? I can't remember the word. But anyways, the joins between the various watertight compartments, like not the compartments, like the water tightness, like the things that hold the water out, like the joins, when they are subjected to a sudden high pressure, it can cause them to fail. And if you are subjected multiple times to this sort of high pressure event, such as large explosions blowing up all around you, even if they don't actually damage the hull, just the shockwave can damage those structures. And then it's very difficult to make sure that the submarine is watertight at that point. That's what they said. And as you can tell, I don't know enough to even describe what they said to you. So it's not the welds. It's like I keep thinking washers, but that's not the word. It's like the rubber, like the gaskets and stuff. Like those things are easily damaged by shockwaves.
O-rings.
Yeah.
I have a friend who served on a submarine as an officer. That's all I can say.
Okay.
That's. I actually know one Russian submariner, but I knew him like in 90s.
So you can't just call him up.
In 80s, yeah, in 80s. I don't think we would be friends anymore. I was young, like I was, I don't know, 16, 15. He was 35. It was my parents' friend.
Yeah. So basically, both of these ships are gone. The the thing that makes me sad out of this, because it makes me very happy that the submarine and this other ship broke. But what makes me sad is that the dry dock didn't break. I wanted the dry dock to break too. That makes me sad. Although I have no idea how long it'll take to fix this. I suspect it's going to take a very long time to fix. Anyways, are there any other topics that I forgot? I can't remember. I can't remember what I forgot. Probably forgot something. We blew up a Triumph. That was cool. That happened yesterday. Where was that? It was right here. Blew up a Triumph, right? Uh, wait, what's this eyeball? Oh yeah. Um, that was a S-400 launcher. That was destroyed in a some sort of coordinated attack. It seemed rather sophisticated in the way the attack worked, and I don't really know much about the attack other than it was sophisticated. It seems that there may have been a drone attack followed by some other form of missile attack, like maybe from harm or something like that, and then another like storm shadow attack. I'm not sure of the timing between all of these things, whether they all happened at the same time or how. I don't really know how it worked, but at the end of the day, they blew up an S-400 launcher, and they claim to have destroyed other stuff in addition to that, although we only have proof of the launcher. Oh yeah, and those evacuations from those villages. This is something that, if you are into the sort of conspiracies about crossing the Dnipro, you'd be all over this news. Um, so I did not read the original source of where this came from, so I'm not sure even who wrote this. I think I'm pretty sure it was the Ukrainian government wrote this, but I don't know who wrote it, and that for that reason I can't fully vouch for it because there's members of the Ukrainian government I don't really trust. But anyway, uh,
No, they all tell only the truth. Especially Malar.
but they there was an announcement of a mandatory evacuation from a number of towns, right? So the towns listed are Tokarivka and a whole bunch of Lvova and Olhivka and Odranivka and Vesele and Berislav and Novoberislav and Zimivka and a few others, Trevoni Mayak. So it's basically all of the towns from like here down the river to there. So it's like all of these towns are apparently, supposedly, I'm not entirely sure it's true, mandatory evacuation. Um, Now, I don't know, Constantine. Do you remember the last time there was an actual mandatory evacuation? Because it seems that all the evacuations are mostly Ukraine saying we wrongly believe you should leave.
Yeah, I mean, forcing no one's gonna force people. If they're hysterical and then don't want to leave, I don't think anyone's gonna just bag them and send them.
But yeah, these towns, a lot of them have been completely obliterated by airstrikes and artillery fire. Mostly airstrikes, honestly. Um, like here, I'll show you on my other map where I have many days of data. All I can show you all at once. So here we go. This is how many airstrikes have been in this one town over the past like 2 weeks. It's a lot. It's a whole bunch. So these towns are just getting obliterated by airstrikes, and there's shelling on top of this, but the airstrikes are they're crazy. We're talking like up to a dozen airstrikes in every single one of these towns, and that's like in the past like 2 weeks. That's not even counting like all the other time before this. Like, it's absolutely wild. So I think this is kind of the main reason for evacuation orders, because the shelling is doing a ton of damage too. So we don't want to undersell the shelling, but these airstrikes are just brutal. Like, maybe I can get a video of some of these. I'll go back to the other map. So like, here's a video. This is an airstrike, and so this is what we're talking about. Hitting these towns all the time. It's very dangerous. Civilians should not be here. And I can show you more. Like, here's I don't think I have a video for that one. Not all of them have videos, but a lot of them do. So that's another image of there's like someone's house got blown up, So very dangerous. People really should not be here. So I think that's why they're doing the evacuations. So Constantine, if you could do anything you wanted with that sub, what would you do with it?
I would sink it in the sea.
You just want to get rid of it?
Yeah.
Okay. You could like turn it into a museum. You could turn it into like an attraction. Imagine
maybe
like...
a dive site. You
have to make a dive site. Okay.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Okay. All right. So I think that's all the news I got. There've been one thing that I don't really talk about much is there are a lot of airstrikes in Sumy and Chernihiv, so along the border. I do map them. I just don't really talk about them much. And if you kind of travel through time, you can see them. I only map the ones I know about, obviously, so there's probably a lot more that I don't know about. So just keep that in mind, that Russia is hitting the border as well. The areas that are not in direct combat, they're also hitting them with pretty regular airstrikes. And I will remind you that this light blue here is a evacuation zone that they set up, and people didn't listen to, but they set it up. I will probably mark, if I can find the official documents of these towns being evacuated, I will mark these towns as official evacuation as well. So yeah. Anyways, so that's all I got. I guess we'll be back on Tuesday, right?
Yep.
Do you want to talk about your fundraiser?
Oh yeah, thank you so much. We have right now an active fundraiser for 2 brigades, 32nd, 28th brigade. 28th brigade is south of Bakhmut. It's in Klischiivka, I think. It's fighting multiple Russian forces. And there is a 32nd brigade who is around Kupiansk. They had certain troubles. They had to restructure their drone units, and now they need a bit more drones than that. So we're fundraising $50,000. This money will go towards purchasing DJI Mavic drones and some Autel Max 4T drones for these 2 brigades. they absolutely need it, and it would be really good help for them. So if you're interested to help them, please follow the link. I think Andrew's gonna add it to the description probably.
That's what I'm doing.
And yep, and I would greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much, Andrew, for reminding.
Yeah. It's not letting me. Like, I'll add it when the thing's over, because right now when I click edit description, it oh, it's working now. It before it was like giving me a big question mark. It was like, what do you mean description? Never heard of it. Here, there. Now it's in the description. They want to see a Vesel. Okay, fine. I'll show you a Vesel. Let's look at a Vesel. Maybe I can find a Vesel picture that I haven't shown before. Right. Oh, here's one. I don't think I've shown this one. Let's go. Oh, that's not a picture. It's a video. Oh, here's a picture. Here. Look at that. Look at that Vesel. Look how majestic it is. Yeah. All right. All right, everybody. And thank you, Luis. Thank you for the donation. Oh, you wanna see the Vesel that you sent me? You want to see a thing that you sent me, so you know what it looks like. Oh. Is this a life-sized Vesel? Is this how big it is in real life, Martin? Is it actually on the map? Where is it? Where'd you put it? Okay, so it's down by Novopil. Is it actually there? I'm confused. I'm so confused, Martin. Martin, just come into the chat and tell me what's going on. Oh, it's there. Oh, you made a Vesel. It's a Vesel. Look what he did. Look what Martin's done. The crew numbers are huge. It's 3 people. Or 2 people. 2 people can fit in a Vesel. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's like bigger than a motorcycle. So yeah, this is what Martin's done. All right, so I'll be back on Tuesday. All right, goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.